welcome to the Gaia Update. I'm Adrienne Elise. Well, wow, what a powerful time we're living in, and it can feel kind of like a squeeze right now, and things are coming up for us, but if we can keep this energy, this consciousness of the powerful, the most amazing time that we're in on the planet, that will help. So here we are on the verge of this powerful eclipse and equinox right there together here on March 20th. It happens early in the morning. This is a full solar eclipse, and it's visible from Europe. Even if you don't see the eclipses, though, they're still affecting all of us. And this eclipse is even more intense because it's happening with the sun and the moon right there at 29 degrees Pisces. We've also got Mercury in Pisces right now, the messenger, and we're still gleaning information about what Mercury brought forward in its retrograde cycle in Aquarius. And now that it's made it into Pisces, we're getting the other side of the story. And so indeed, in order to shoot off into a new age, into a new beginning, into a new life, which we're being asked to do in a most powerful way by the universe, we must clean up the old. We must complete the end, and 29 degrees is the last degree of the sign. And so this full solar eclipse at 29 degrees Pisces is really important. Now, eclipses are about what needs to be revealed, bringing things to the surface. It's like the darkening comes because there's an alignment. So first of all, it's an interesting energy because the planets are coming into a perfect alignment. But what that happens with that is a shadow. Now, when the shadow shifts, though, it's like clarity comes forward. So it's also really important that Mercury, the messenger, is in Pisces right now. And today it's right on top of Neptune, and then it moves into a conjunction with Chiron, the wounded healer. And so we are being asked to clean up the past, and that's why the stuff is coming up right now. And it might be coming up really strongly or really powerfully or really interestingly, because with the energy of this year from the Venus-Mars conjunctions, it's about trying to come out of duality consciousness, about harmonizing opposing forces. In order for those to harmonize, as you know, before we have resolution, both sides in a conflict grow. And so that's what's happening. And so our stuff's coming up in a big or different or interesting way. And if we can keep perspective on that's what we need to move into this new future, this new life. And also that even though it might be uncomfortable as it comes up in our lives, it's better and healthier and feels better than having it stuck in our subconscious and actually causing less problems, even if it's on the surface. Once something's being expressed, that's the healing. And so we have all these planets in fire. We have 5 planets on fire, and that will continue through this next month as the sun and the moon will move into Aries on the 21st. And so the fire is asking us, getting a fire under our butt, although we've been in this Pisces energy. So that fire under our butt is kind of like stewing this watery boil of energy, and we don't know quite what to do with it, how to move forward. And it feels like when this stuff comes up from the past, am I really getting somewhere? I've been doing all this work for the last 2 years in this, with that Saturn in Scorpio, cleaning up my shadow, and here this stuff is again. But it's that beautiful thing that it's coming up right now at this crucial time, this powerful time that we're living on the planet, because it is exactly what's in the way of you moving into that new reality, your new life that's more appropriate to the truth of who you are. Now, this, in the wider scope of things and our identity shift, this Uranus and Aries is our identity crisis that we're going through in this whole era that we live in. And with this Jupiter in Leo, Yod, that's been happening, all eyes are on Jupiter and Leo. So Jupiter is the planet that rules Sagittarius, an expansive, the dreamer, religious, spiritual ideas. And Leo is about expression and having the confidence to express the truth of who we really are. And so on a global scale, we're getting more comfortable with our identity as being of being home in the wider cosmos. And so it's interesting with this eclipse cycle, things being revealed and all of this the Pluto-Uranus square, the 7th of 7 that happened on the 16th of this month. It's all about these changes that need to happen for us to move forward. And in a nutshell, these changes are about coming to terms with the truth of ourselves in the wider cosmos. And so this year is a year of disclosure. More and more we're going to be finding this information come forward about communication with other beings in other realms, about the technology that is available to us because of that, to solve all of our problems on the planet, about the truth of the financial system and how much we've been dominated and controlled for hundreds of years, thousands of years. And all this is beginning to change, and it's a super exciting time on the planet. And this eclipse cycle is really starting this energy of disclosure. So what's that mean in your life? What needs to be disclosed? And this is really coming to the foreground as we have all this energy in Pisces. And Pisces is the dream, the illusion, the fantasy. And so how do we bring our new identity into reality and leave behind what's not serving us anymore, like the Piscean age, as Mercury is conjuncting Neptune and then Chiron, the wounded healer. Then Mercury moves into Aries at the beginning of April and conjuncts Uranus, trines Jupiter, and also triggers that Pluto-Uranus square. So Mercury is really bringing us forward this message about how do we clean up the past in order to move forward. We need to complete the last stage before we can start the new one. And this is happening individually in our lives as well as collectively. And so this next month is a super powerful time to continue to pay attention to the signs and symbols. We're still feeling this Jupiter trining Uranus, a very powerful energy of luck. Jupiter's planets of expansion, abundance, and luck. And Uranus is that lightning fast change. Now, up till now, Uranus and Pluto in that square, that lightning fast change has been kind of scary. It's like the tower in the tarot deck, where everything you have your life set up, and then all of a sudden something comes along, just goes clean the slate. And that's been a little bit disconcerting, but now we're tapping into the magic of the Uranus energy. Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. It's really important into this age we're moving into, to be flexible as spiritual beings, to evolve at this faster rate, to be willing to let go of what's no longer serving us. And when you have magical synchronicities lining up, signs from the universe that you're on the right path, that is very helpful and very encouraging. And so tap into that. Pay very close attention. This eclipse cycle is lasting a month to the following new moon in April. And so this next month is really important around clearing up that past, the nitty-gritty, and moving into the future. Now we're kind of feeling this sludgy energy because Saturn just a few days ago went retrograde, and it's still in Sagittarius, but it's heading back into Scorpio. And that was this Saturn, the work duty, father time, reality planet in the sign of our shadow. And so we're having a chance to get the nitty gritty of what we haven't gotten cleaned up in order to move into our new life. And that's very welcome, especially with all of the other positive and synchronistic and supportive energies this year that are helping us to make this shift. It feels like finally the universe is on our side. It feels like finally we're getting somewhere, and we're going to really be feeling this in this next week or two as we have this the eclipse cycle starts. And then on April 8th, Jupiter goes direct. Now it went retrograde on December 8th. And this is really important, the number 8, because 2015 in numerology, you add up the digits to come down to one single digits between 1 and 9. And so when you add up the numbers 2015, you come to the number 8. So this is an 8 year. And so Jupiter's playing a very powerful role, having gone retrograde on an 8th, going direct on an 8th. It's telling us that we can tap into this 8 energy. 8 is creation. It's death and rebirth. It's expansion. It's abundance. And so this is the energy we need to move into. Part of the truth that's coming forward about our place in the cosmos is that our cosmos is ever expanding. We are ever expanding. We have come so far in the last 100 years, but we have only just begun in our evolution, in our consciousness. And so it's a very exciting time to tap into that. And by the end of 2015, I feel like humanity as a whole is going to have a very different idea about who we are in the cosmos and what's really happening on Earth and what's really going on. And so it's an exciting time that we live in, and if you can keep that in perspective as you go through these changes, as you go through this Uranus-Pluto square demanding that we reevaluate our life on all levels and make sure that it's in alignment with who we really are. But do we know who we really are? And this Jupiter in Leo is really asking that of us in this Yod formation. So we've got Pluto in Capricorn, Chiron in Pisces. They're 60 degrees apart, saddling Aquarius, directly opposing that Jupiter in Leo. Now, when Jupiter goes direct, that Yod is going to be like a slingshot, and that happens again on April 8th. And so this Equinox Eclipse into the new season, the sun and the moon moving into Aries together, it's just like, and then on April 8th, it's like the slingshot gets set free, and we get to see where we end up in all of it. And kind of the whole overall message is be ready to move, be ready to feel like you're getting somewhere. And that means with this Uranus and Aries and the time that we live in, the age of Aquarius, not necessarily knowing where we're going. If it's lightning fast change and everything's happening like that around us, revolutionary, then we don't get to know exactly what that looks like minute to minute. And so to have the strength that Leo, a Jupiter in Leo, of who we really are, the confidence to begin to express who we really are and hold to that, and within that is a whole bunch of love and compassion, and because Venus is playing quite a role in this next week too, triggering the square as well. And so we're feeling, we're going through all this, all the stuff's coming up, we're figuring out how to move forward, and the key into that is to love ourselves, to have compassion for ourselves. And sometimes as these things come up, they're so powerful, coming out of duality, and they're so out of proportion that it's almost comical. And if you can keep that kind of detached, in a way, observer attitude and love and compassion for yourself, and knowing that it's coming out of the subconscious because it's much healthier in its expression, so you can get rid of it, so you can be free. Humanity, we're being asked to stand up and free ourselves and invite in the technology, the information, to wake up to the truth and make the changes that we need to make on this planet. We have everything we need. We only have to mobilize ourselves and begin to take back our Earth. So I hope you're with me on that one, and I hope that your journey is wonderful, amazing. Pay attention to everything this next month. Love yourself as you go through these changes, because it's setting yourself up for this most amazing life, and you don't have to know what that looks like. You just have to be ready to go forward. So clear your slate, clear your plate, get rid of what's not important, what's not really serving your true soul needs in your life, and be willing to head in a new and unexpected direction, and you'll be all set, especially if you commit to loving yourself, finding compassion for yourself and those who've hurt you. Those people who have hurt you are the most powerful people in your life. That if you see them from after passing, looking down at your experience, you will honor those people the most. And if you can find any hint of that in this life, of honoring those people, your enemies, as your greatest teachers, and loving them and loving yourself, allowing yourself to be vulnerable, that's the key. So I wish you the best on your journey. I look forward to next time. I wish you the best. Namaste.